Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Ministers. I'm glad to see you're both here because this is something that I certainly can't be accused of being populist on. In the week past, we've heard all about turf and emissions, but something that I've been requesting, certainly in your time in government, but also in my previous role as the head of the Road Haulage Association, and that is why we have not yet removed the barrier from Dublin Port. A toll barrier, when trucks are free, that it actually causes 40,000 litres of fuel to be expended into the atmosphere daily, up to 10 million litres a year. Ministers, can either of you tell me, please, your viewpoint on the urgency of removing this toll to protect lung health of the people in Dublin?
Under the Roads Act 1993 to 2015, the operation and management of individual national roads is a matter for Transport Infrastructure Ireland in conjunction with the local authorities concerned. Therefore, matters relating to the day-to-day operations regarding national roads, including toll roads, and the establishment of a system of tolls are within the remit of the TII. More specifically, the statutory power to levy tolls, to make toll bylaws and to enter into agreements with private investors are vested with TII under Part 5 of the Roads Act. TII has advised that for operational and safety reasons, it's essential that barrier control is retained at the toll plaza. It does not follow that removing the toll would lead to a reduction in carbon emissions. On the contrary, TII are concerned that on the whole removing tolls would lead to an increase in congestion as more cars would be incentivised to use the tunnel. This would result in an increase in fuel consumption and an increase in emissions. Increased levels of congestion in the vicinity of the Dublin Tunnel would negatively impact the freight and logistics sector. The tunnel has facilitated the removal of HGV traffic away from Dublin city centre and in doing so has improved the overall environment, air quality and road safety in the city. The road safety improvements have been beneficial for vulnerable road users such as pedestrians and cyclists. Moreover, the tunnel has delivered benefits to Irish road hauliers, providing a reliable connection between Dublin Port and the motorway network. The tunnel opened to traffic in December 2006. The toll plaza equipment and the control system software date from the design period in the years prior to the opening. TII have confirmed that they tend to go to tender to an upgrade of both the tolling system software and hardware and aim to implement the upgrade later in 2022 and 2023. This will result in quicker barrier movement and speedier throughput of vehicles, reducing delays at the barrier and increasing the overall reduction in CO2 emissions coming from the tunnel.
Have to express my frustration and exasperation at such a rote answer written by civil servants who, like Deputy Fitzmaurice said earlier, just don't know what they're talking about. The toll is free for trucks. There's no suggestion in the removal of the barrier that the toll or the tunnel would be free. It would use a new technology such as is on the M50 that means the truck does not have to stop at a barrier, the torque of the truck is not expended and therefore the litre of fuel isn't expended into the atmosphere. It's the stopping of the truck and the starting taken off that expends the litre of fuel. Now, you've many benefits mentioned, but none of them make any sense, because if we have an extra 40,000 litres of fuel going into the atmosphere, where an EPA report already says we've exceeded the World Health Organization levels and we're paying fines to the EU for the exceedance, does it not make sense as a Green Minister to remove the toll barrier? It prevents all of the aforementioned.
Good evening. Murphy, myself and Minister Naughton spent a lot of time in recent months trying to look at various measures to support and help the haulage sector, and will continue to do so at difficult times. And included in that, looking at the issue about could we remove the restrictions on the tunnel, not because, you're right, trucks are not paying tolls, but could we remove the barriers altogether so there would be effectively a free-flowing system? My recollection, and discussing this answer in advance with the civil servants, there are also concerns. It's not about the failure to collect the toll, it's the safety management of the tunnel is their primary concern. There is an issue that if they, at certain times of the day, you have a lot of trucks coming in, they have to manage it. They have to make sure they don't have a whole load of vehicles queuing within the tunnel. They have to make sure that the volume or that traffic is spaced out and that it doesn't exceed the safety limits. That's the primary reason. It's a pure safety, in my mind, and control and management of the tunnel. For private cars, they have a concern that if they opened it up barrier-free, they would see an increase. And that's why that element of the answer. But primarily, it's a safety-related issue, a traffic management issue, and one that we tried, both of us, I remember looking for every solution to help the haulers, couldn't actually, and at the end, you do have to listen and heed to the safety advice of the civil servants and the experts for fear that an accident you'd come back and ruin the day that you didn't.
Minister, again, it's not about helping the hauliers. It's about the 1,300 people you've said all week die due to lung health issues caused by the carbon in our atmosphere. Here is 40,000 litres a day, over 10 million litres per year that could be prevented. There are tunnels and tolls, there's tunnels all over the world that are not managed by toll barriers. Are you telling me it's beyond the civil servants to look to other models around the world to find a solution that doesn't mean we're expending 10 million litres of fuel per annum, and you're considering banning turf on the basis of lung health? These are NOx emissions into an already congested carbon atmosphere. And you're telling me that the best they can come up with is it's a safety issue. No toll is used as a safety mechanism for a tunnel in any part of the world that I'm aware of, and I've been in most countries in Europe where they are.
Every tunnel and every road has different characteristics, but this one has particular characteristics because it is. We lead all our trucks around the...
What you're saying, Minister? The lung damage caused by the expansion of 10 million litres of fuel extra is acceptable.
Exchange of views across the question.
No, in every way we have to look and improve air quality, and traffic also does cause some of the pollutants that do affect lung. It tends to be more localised, but this tunnel and the access to the port and the management of the port and the tunnel together has certain characteristics which are required to be managed in an organised way. There are indeed tunnels all over the world, and each have different characteristics as to why they might need management. But having looked at it, having pressed and tried with all the will that we could muster, the line came back, and we have to accept that from the experts who are managing it, that for the safe operation of this tunnel,
on where they've looked.
I'll quite happily provide further background detail from our department if there are further background reports.
Minister.